You will find a lot of closed doors when you're an immigrant. Behind those doors, there are opportunities, there's success. How do you open them? Language is the first key. My name is Khadija, a linguist immigrant in Sweden, and I'm here to help you learn Swedish and integrate yourself into the Swedish society. Welcome to Module 6, where we discuss plural. Articles en and et with indefinite nouns are only used in the singular form. In the plural indefinite form, they disappear. If, for example, in the singular form you say en bil, in the plural form en will disappear and you will say cars as bilar. Plural forms of Swedish nouns can, however, become a bit tricky. That's why we're going to learn a few useful rules today so that you know why en bil is bilar, but et bord remains the same in the plural form. Nouns are divided into 5 groups, which, based on their endings in the singular form, acquire different forms in plural. Group 3 is the trickiest one in my opinion, and it can easily overwhelm you. That's why I have divided this module into 2 parts. In part 1 we will cover all groups but group 3, and group 3 will be discussed next week in part 2. In group 1, words acquire ending u-är in plural. In this group we have n words ending with a. In plural, a disappears and the words acquire ord, u-är. For instance, en väska becomes väskor. En blomma, a flower, becomes blommor. In group 2, words acquire ending a-är in plural. Words ending with vowels other than a belong to group 2 and acquire a-är as an ending in plural. For instance, en bro, a bridge, becomes broar, bridges. Then in group 2 we have n words ending with consonants. For instance, en tolk becomes tolkar, interpreters. En kam becomes kammar. En mun becomes munnar. Pay attention that in kam, comb, and mun, mouth, the final m and n sounds are stressed and they're doubled in plural. In group 2 we also have words ending with ing, dum, and lek. For example, en tidning becomes tidningar, en sjukdom becomes sjukdomar, and illness, illnesses, and storlek becomes storlekar, a size, sizes. Group 2 even includes words ending with unstressed endings, and these include e, el, en, er, ar, un. The unstressed vowels e, a, and u disappear in plural. So en granne becomes grannar, neighbor. En nyckel becomes nycklar. En vinter becomes vintrar. En sommar becomes somrar. En morgon becomes morgnar. Then we have 2 familiar words, a daughter and a mother, that receive umlaut in plural. En dotter becomes döttrar. And then you have 2 forms of a mother in Swedish, en mor and en moder. En mor doesn't have a plural form, and the plural form of en moder is mödrar. How to tell that the endings are unstressed? First, you need to find a stressed syllable in the word. This syllable will be pronounced longer and a bit louder than the other parts of the word. For instance, in vinter, the first part, vin, is louder and longer than the ending. It's not vinter, it's vinter. It's not dotter, it's dotter. So in all these cases, the endings are unstressed, and thus they have a-är in plural. Group 3, as I said in the beginning, is a bit more complicated than the rest, and we will discuss Group 3 in Part 2. For now, we move on to Group 4. Words that belong to Group 4 acquire n at the end in plural. Here we have et nouns ending with vowels. In plural, you simply add n at the end. For example, ett äpple, you take away article ett and simply add n, äpplen. Or ett ansikte, you take away ett, you add n, and you have ansikten, faces. Group 5 is the easiest, I'd say, because words remain the same in plural. In group 5, first of all, we have et nouns that end with a consonant. For instance, ett bord remains the same in plural, bord. You just take away the article ett, and what's left is the plural. Or to give another example, ett barn remains the same, barn, in plural. You don't need to do anything. Take away the article ett, and you have plural. Apart from this, in group 5, we have n nouns with certain endings, and they also remain the same in plural. These endings include are, ier, iker, ande, ende. For instance, en hamburgare is simply hamburgare in plural. En iranier is simply iranier in plural. En akademiker is simply akademiker in plural. En asylsökande is simply asylsökande in plural. Lastly, in this group, we even have certain n-words that receive ablaut in plural. Let us look at an example to see what ablaut means. En man becomes man in plural. The vowel a in singular turned into vowel ä in plural. Ablaut is this replacement of root vowel with another vowel. And such n nouns, as said, belong to group 5 because they barely change the form. The only thing that changes is the vowel in the root. Other examples include en lus, lös, louse, lice, en mus, mös, a mouse, mice, en far or fader, fäder, or en bror, broder, bröder. The short forms of father and brother, that is far and bror, don't have plural forms, and that's why we formulate the plural forms based on their longer versions, fader and broder. This was all for now. I hope I managed to present this complex issue in simpler terms, and I hope it doesn't feel very confusing. I suggest that you practice on my Patreon page to gain some confidence before we go on to group 3 in the second part, because there it's a jungle. See you soon.